welcome back to another episode of Project Explorer from behind the wheel of the sport track. Not something I do every day. So much to cover in this video, and I thought since I'm heading out to go pick up my little sister anyway, I had to make this little video for you guys. Let's hit the road, shall we? I need to actually crack the windows just a touch, let some air in because it is really hot in this vehicle right now. So, all right, future plans is the topic of today's video, and stuff I think I've pretty much decided on doing. And I think what we're going to wind up doing for performance mods. Now, this was a question that got asked on my build series video a few days ago on why I've done no performance mods. And it's a pretty good question. Quite frankly, the first things first is the condition of the vehicle. Now, back when I first received this vehicle, I didn't plan on keeping it. I really just was like, you know, it'll do for now until I can get out of college, and then I'm going to get something new that is a lot more quicker, a lot more reliable, and probably I'm probably just going to go after another sport track anyway. But I highly doubted that was. So what I decided on later on down the road was I fell in love with this vehicle. I truly did. It's a fun vehicle to drive, especially in the summer with its back window that rolls down, all that crap, and it's got a pretty good modding capability, especially aesthetically. As you guys have seen, I've done a lot of stuff with this truck, and there's a ton more on like the Facebook page I'm a part of, which is all sport tracks only, that are pretty beefed up. I mean, you can see some on there that are running serious numbers. In fact, I saw somebody on there today, one of the head guys in the sport track world, ran part of the sport track meets for a couple years, the national meets in Kentucky, which I'm wishing they'd bring back. If we could get it one more time, and hopefully when I get some experience in the interstate, I'd love to go up there with this and film a whole video at the sport track meet of America. He was one of the head guys, and he's talking about building a bullet-built 4.6 in his second gen, and he's going to be planning on running 700 to 900 wheel horsepower. Fusion behind me was about to hit me. It seemed like I need to get going. Anyway, like I was saying, I mean, like the sport tracks are very capable vehicles, so you can build them up just right, with the right tuning setup and the right engine configuration. You're going to pump out a little bit of power. Even these 4 liters, I've heard, can put out a good bit of power to the ground. An STS or mount turbo stage 3, you'd be running around 670 to the wheels to the either to the wheels or the crank. I can't remember where I read that from. On 12 pounds of boost, which is pretty crazy. Think about it for one of these old single cam motors. Of course, this one I'm not going to do either of those. I'm not going to do a bullet built motor because obviously I don't have a 4.6. I've still got the old 4 liter V6. I'm going to say inline 6. That's Michael's car. So what I'm going to do instead, I've decided on. Behind me is like way too close. Speed limit's 40, idiot. Anyway, like I was saying up before I went on that rampage just now, I'm debating. I've pretty much set on this. I want to do an E85 conversion. Now, I know in the sport track community that's a pretty touchy subject running E85 because I mean these are not high performance vehicles. Most cars that run E85 are high performance, such as like a Mustang or a GTR or a Skyline or anything of that nature. This is just some old pickup truck basically. But I really like the idea of it because E85 is a total octane of 107. So that is already better than most conventional pump gas octane ratings you can get at, you know, the gas stations up the road from here where I usually go to get gas. Of course, the dilemma for me would be availability. And E85, like I said, isn't very mainstream yet. Only performance cars really choose to run it. It doesn't sell very well. So obviously not a lot of gas stations are going to carry it. So that'd be my one dilemma, is finding it. Of course, once I found a pump that could sell me it, I'd be good and golden. All right, give you guys a little pull here. I love that noise. I'm gonna roll the windows up a little bit now. All right, so there we go. Now you guys can hear me clear. But basically I want to get E85 on this thing so I can get that extra power. I've seen cars gain upwards of 150 to 200 horsepower just on running E85 alone. Of course, there are some cars that have run superchargers that I've seen jump from 400 to 700 to the crank doing that stuff. But in all honesty, I don't want to push too much power because this is, again, a truck. It's not going to be able to hold its weight down very well because it's rear-wheel drive as well. So that's my one dilemma I've really run into with this tuning setup I've decided to go with, is getting something that'll hold its power down. So I think on top of the E85 run, we're gonna obviously supercharge it down the road, probably a Vortec unit, centrifugal blower, because I do want the feeling of hitting a turbo boost, but at the same time I want that kind of simplicity and instant torque of a supercharger. So obviously I'd choose the centrifugal blower because that is right in the middle. It does both, and you can get access to the spooling and the just amount of boost you can run on a turbo with the instantaneousness and launch of a supercharged engine. Excuse me, I was about to get burped for a second. I wanted to stop myself. So honestly, that would be a pretty cool setup. It'd be unique in the sport track community because, like I said, not a lot of people do it. A lot of people who boost these engines, which is very rare at that, seeing people who boost the 4 liters, they'll go for a Whipple charger or something like that, Whipple style twin roots, twin screw, not twin roots, root style twin screw, something like that, or they'll turbocharge it. But I wanted to do a centrifugal blower just to make it unique. A lot of people in the Mustang community do that stuff with the V6 motors, whether it's the 4.0 or the 3.7 liter. All in all, it always comes out really cool to see a centrifugal supercharged V6. So obviously I'd be doing that with this. I'd be having that centrifugal blower on it, and it would spool up. I'd probably do a blow-off valve if they need them. I don't know for sure if centrifugal blowers need blow-off valves since they are not essentially exhaust gas driven. They're belt driven. So I'll look into that, but I highly doubt that if I go this route, I will need a blow-off valve. But I will put a really nice wastegate on it if it needs one of those, because I'd like to have that kind of crazy spooling sound that a lot of boosted cars can get. So we're just arriving here at the middle school, which is is that a Hummer H1? Oh, I should pay attention. But yeah, I mean, that's just really crazy plans I've got for this thing. It'll probably be a while before I can get the supercharger done alone, because the supercharger kit for the sport, or not the sport track in particular, but the 4-liter engine is pretty pricey. It's around $3,500 for the Vortec blower. And I mean, I know what you're saying. You could easily go for something from Explorer Express and pay about the same money, but it's purpose built for the Explorer. The problem is that it's more, they'd stop supporting the sport track and that brand. They only support the Ranger and the older 4.6 and 5-liter Explorers. There's nothing there anymore for the 4 liters sport tracks or the Explorer Sport. Meaning you're kind of SOL if you have one of these things and you want to get parts from Explorer Express. So that's why I've chosen to go with a Vortec blower, is because it's built for the 4-liter in general, and I could probably get it to mount up to this motor with very little to no fabrication whatsoever. That was a Hummer, but it wasn't an H1. He just kind of pulled in behind me. But yeah, so that's really all I've thought about doing to this thing, is just, a couple of crazy little performance mods with that. Of course, I've got the cold air intake coming on its way soon, whenever I get that done. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Project Explorer, and I will see you guys soon.